Good morning, everyone. So I thought I would start a vlog. I leave for Toronto in 2 days. So I thought I would bring you along and we're gonna go to Toronto together. I think I'll film it because I haven't been there in a couple of years since pre-COVID and I'm just so excited to go. But I still have a couple of days of work still. I'm just about to go on my lunch here shortly, but I wanted to let you know that I started Post-Traumatic by Chantel V. Johnson. And I'm really excited for this one. I have a friend that just started reading it and she has very similar taste to I do. So I have very high hopes for this one. Plus, I think it's maybe like 300 pages, so I should be able to breeze through it pretty much today. And I'm just more focused on keeping myself busy and entertained until I go. I still have to decide what book I'm bringing with me to Toronto to kind of keep me busy. I am driving there, so I can stop in Montreal on the way and then Old Quebec on the way back and just have a proper like road trip, which I haven't been able to do in so long. And I'm so excited to do. So let's see how this goes. I'm going to jump into this and finish my cup of coffee here. But I've just taken a break from work. There's a little Emma. There's Alfie's right there. So I'm going to hop into this. Good morning, everyone. So I thought, okay, it is later on in the day, but not too late. I finished my workday and I have just finished Post-Traumatic. Like I said, this was a pretty easy one. I read for my hour lunch break, and honestly, I think I read about 200, a little over 200 pages, and it's about 300 pages in total. So I just finished it now, and I definitely have thoughts. So I didn't really know what it was about when I was going into it, but basically this is about a woman named Vivian who she's a lawyer for and an advocate for mental health for the New York psychiatric ward. But along with mental illness, this book talks a lot about race, sexuality, and all of the struggles that ensue with personal identification, personal identity, and what is owed to people around you who think they know you, who aren't on that self-discovery journey with you, and sort of the ties you have to your family and to your friends and everything like that. So I will say this book has a lot of triggers that should be talked about. There is a lot in it. But as well, I do think it turns more heartwarming than what you would expect it to. So I don't want to go into too much detail because it deals with a lot of what I would say is more triggering subjects, but you can assume from what I've spoken about, kind of the triggers that would come up with all of those kind of hot button topics of self-discovery. But a really interesting thing that I thought was explored in this is Vivian is a Black Latin woman who dates other women. And it was a really interesting delve into the attraction you would have for your identifying gender and how much you can tear down yourself while appreciating in other women and other women's physical attributes what you might hate in yourself. And I thought that was a really interesting, more nuanced take in a lot of books I've read that have tried to breach similar subjects. I just thought that was a really interesting bit that we kind of caught glimpses of in Vivian's mind. But I would rate this maybe like a 3.5 out of 5. Like I said, I really liked it. It was very short. I would actually like it a little bit longer than what it was because I think there was so much more we could have explored. But with that being said, I now am going to pick my next read for the day. I didn't expect to read that quite so fast, but like I said, it was 100 pages and the font was actually quite big. So I think I anticipated this taking up the whole day, but I had the entire evening left to go and all of the day tomorrow before I leave for vacation. So I'm gonna pick my next book.
Okay, so I don't know who I thought I was kidding, but I'm on a Sarah J. Maas kick. I just finished my reread of A Court of Thorns, and the only thing I have left is A Court of Silver Flames still. Again, if you hear rustling around, my pug is playing. But that being said, I think I'm going to ride this wave of wanting to reread Sarah J. Maas because I only have 6 months left and like so many books to reread. So I think what I'm going to do for the next day and a half, I'm going to start my reread of the Throne of Glass series, but I'm going to reread the novella while I'm at home, and then I will start book 1 once I'm on my way to Toronto. And then I'm bringing my Kobo, so like if I need a break from it, I haven't read it in so long, but if I need a break from it, then I can take that break that I need. I have here the Throne of Glass series that I wrestled down. As you can see, I'm like a little red in the face because I had to get it from up there. And fun fact, I am 5'2.5", 5'3". Doesn't actually matter. That's my business. But I'm a little person. So I finally got my book set down and I'm going to hop into The Assassin's Blade. I really don't remember much about this series at all, except for the final book. So I am excited to reread this. It's going to be so nostalgic. I anticipate the writing's not going to be the best, but I'm still excited to give it a go and hopefully knock out this series in the next month or so, and get that part of the Sarah J. Maas reread over with. But I think once I reread the Throne of Glass series, then I will read A Court of Silver Flames as like a reward to myself before I have to reread Crescent City, which, as I'm sure everyone knows, it's not my favorite series thus far, but with the ending of book 2, I definitely want to continue. So with that being said, I'm going to start The Assassin's Blade. Okay, I refuse to be one of those people that is constantly like bagging on Sarah J. Maas because I see the value in her stories, I see the value in her writing and what she does, but I will say, woof, her writing definitely gets better. And I feel like I do like to see that in an author. It's a testament that they are honing their craft when I can see the difference between the first book they published to the latest book they published. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of Crescent City, I know once I get to Throne of Glass, which was written even earlier than this one, this was written like halfway through the series, it's really, really going to start to show that she was new to writing. It was her first time giving it a go. But my goodness. Also, I forgot her name's Selena. Let me pause Vanderpump. So I am reading Throne of Glass. I read the first novella in the Assassin's Blade and that was fine. But after that first one, I wanted to hop into the main story, which of course is book 1 in Throne of Glass. So that is what I'm doing now. I'm just about 20 pages in, so the story's just getting started, but I forgot how young Selena is. And realistically, what I think is Sarah J. Maas should have been writing for adults to begin with, because a lot of this, like, I'm aging up the character in my mind. In Assassin's Blade, the very first novella that we read, Selena is only 16 at the time. And just the way in which she conducts herself and the way in which everybody, just the whole world around her, I think it would be more impactful if she was in her early 20s. And I just think that if this character were to be aged up, say 5 years, this whole story would be a little bit better for me. Although maybe that's because I'm 30 and old now, so that's completely a possibility. But we've just met Dorian. We know Selena's in this camp. Yes, the writing is not great right now. It's very clunky. It's a little bit cheesy, But I do know it gets better, so I'm just holding out hope. There have been some oofs in the writing thus far, and I'm only 20 pages in, but we're getting introduced to all of the characters. Kale also has shown his face. I am not a big fan of Kale. I actually cannot stand him, but so we have all of our main players. Some pros is Sarah J. Maas wastes no time doing that. She gets it going right away. All of the characters are set. She is setting up her chessboard. And that is, I think, something that reflects well on this initially being a teen series. So she just wastes no time. We're in it to win it, baby. And we're only 20 pages in. So the first book the first story in the novella was entertaining. It was my favorite one. It's the Pirate King story. So I enjoyed that. I knew that was going to be my favorite already. So I'm going to continue reading for the night, see how far along I get with this, and maybe I have to bring Crown of Midnight along on my road trip, but we'll see. It is officially my vacation and time to head to Toronto. Okay, pardon the kind of dreary lighting. I'm back in Halifax, and true to the East Coast, it has been raining. Basically rained the whole drive back. There's some thunder going on. It's gonna rain for the next few days, but I wanted to say I had a lovely time in Toronto seeing my friend, and I did finish the Throne of Glass, the first book in the Throne of Glass series, and I really did have a nice time with this one. So I will say, obviously, similar to what I said before, the writing was a little bit rough at times. It definitely reads like a early YA novel. But that being said as well, I do think that throughout the entire story, I was aging up the characters. For the age of the characters, it does just read slightly on the ridiculous end. When you're my age, which is 30. So that all being said, I have begun to create some theories now that I've read the whole Sarah J. Maas universe and the way book 2 in Crescent City ends. I'm starting to formulate theories. That was a big batch of thunder. I'm starting to reformulate theories as I go. But it is Wednesday, so I was thinking for the rest of the week, I will tackle Crown of Midnight as well, because I didn't really have much. The last clip I showed, I was maybe a third of the way through, and I just read the remaining 2/3, in my day of travel, because it does read so fast. I really didn't get much reading done through my Toronto trip. I tossed this in my bag and read a couple pages here or there as I waited for coffee or to meet up with friends. But I think I am going to read Crown of Midnight throughout the rest of my work week and then wrap this video up. Okay, well, I am all done work for the day, and The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, part 3 of the reunion, which I haven't seen yet. And I'm also going to dig into the rest of Crown of Midnight for the afternoon. It's really dreary out, so I definitely won't be doing anything else. So I'm going to watch this reunion, dig into the rest of my book, and then at some point eat lunch, but maybe just leftovers or a sandwich or something, nothing too intricate. So yeah, that is how I'm going to spend the rest of my day. Okay, besides all the drama that's going on with the Beverly Housewives behind me, I literally just got to part 2, and I can't believe how soon I stopped before Nima died. I stopped maybe 8 pages away, 5 pages away. Started reading that chapter and I was like, oh, there we go. And we're into part 2. My favorite character at the beginning she's out of here. Sarah J. Maas used to be so ruthless. She really did. She used to just whack off characters. But I feel like that edge has gone a little bit. Her characters are too lovable. We love them too much. She knows we would die without them. So, okay. Into part 2 we go. Okay, I'm just stopping. Well, I did stop previously to set up the dehumidifier. As you could see, it's absolutely pouring out. It's been pouring out since I've gotten back from Toronto, and the house is just getting so humid, like so gross. So I set the dehumidifier aircon up, and I did get a good, hello Emma, I did get a good way through Queen of Shadows, and I have about 70 pages left, but I'm going to just fold my laundry, watch a show, and then finish up, oh, it's not Queen of Shadows, Crown of Midnight. Then I'm going to finish up book 2 and leave you with my thoughts. Okay, I have finally finished The Crown of Midnight, and it's just as I expected. At the very end, we finally get some story expansion, and I am right back in it now. Now I'm very interested. I don't know how originally I didn't think this would be a sort of expanded universe kind of deal, because already in book 2, we have demons from another dimension. And we finally got Selena is now being called Aelin, which we all know her as. We go from Selena to Lilian to Selena to Aelin, but finally, thank God. And honestly, we're into the Fae of it all, which is, it's my favorite part. So that is all I have to report for now. That is 2 books in the Throne of Glass series done, and I am definitely looking forward to continuing the series Reread now that we're in the thick of it. I do think I'm going to enjoy book 4 a lot more than I did the first time, and it's honestly making me a little bit excited for all of the rereads that are going to be happening. But that is it. That is all I have for my part 2 of my Sarah J. Maas full, complete reread, and I will talk to you guys in my next video.